Today we're going to be learning about how to replace the sky in 6 minutes or less using Photoshop. Let's get into it. What's going on, guys? My name is Brendan from Outbound Media, and you can find me on Instagram at Burnwills. Before I get started, I just wanted to let anyone who's new here know that I make new Photoshop tutorials every single Wednesday, so if that's something you'd be into, make sure to hit that subscribe button. So today we're going to be learning about how to replace the sky in 6 minutes or less here in Photoshop. So without further ado, let's get into it. So of course, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up our image in Photoshop, and we're just going to duplicate our layer by pressing Command J. So now we have a layer that we can play around with and still go back to the original image if we need to. So in this case, since I have all this grass that's up in the sky, it'd be really hard to cut out the grass with either a pen tool or my quick selection tool. So that means that I'm going to use my channels to cut out my sky. So I'm going to go over here to my channels tab, and I'm just going to click on that, and now as you see we have RGB, so red, green, and blue, and I'm just going to click on each one until I find the one that has the most contrast being the one with the most black and the most white. So in this case, going through, I have my blue channel has the most contrast. So if you know anything about layer masks, we know that black is 100% invisible while white is 100% visible. So we want to make this image completely black and completely white. So in this case, since our sky is white already, we want to make our sky as white as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate my blue channel by just dragging it down to this new layer icon down here, and I'll make a blue copy. Now just press Command L for my levels, and I'm going to drag up my slider to darken pretty much everything that is already dark until all the grass and things like that are nicely filled in. And now I'm going to do the opposite with my other slider and just drag white until my whole sky is completely white. So it just takes a little bit of finesse until everything is all dialed in there, and that looks good to me. So now I'm just going to click OK. Now with my Command key, I'm just going to press Command and click on my blue copy icon here, and as you see now I have all this marching ants as a selection, so I can go back to my layers, and I'm just with my layer 1 selected, I'm just going to click my layer mask icon, and the reason we see our whole image is because our background image is turned on, so I'm just going to turn that off. And now our sky has been selected, so I want the opposite of that, so I'm just going to press Command I to invert my layer mask. Now as you see, we have cut out our sky completely. Now of course we want to replace our sky with something else, with a more interesting looking sky. So I just got a photo from unsplash.com, and I'm just going to drag and drop it into my project here. So of course I don't want all of this stuff, I just want the clouds. So I'm just going to grab my marquee tool by pressing M, and I'm just going to select out the area of this photo that I want, so which is right about this. And I'm just going to press Command J, so now I have that selection on a separate layer, and I can just get rid of my old layer because I don't really need the rest of that photo. So now I just have my clouds here. Of course I want it to be behind our foreground image here, so I'm just going to drag and drop behind, and now I can press V for my move tool, and I can just scale this around and fit this into my image so it just vibes a little bit better. So I don't want to stretch it too much because then it might look a little bit weird, but I'm just going to go maybe stretch it like that and then just scale it up just a little bit, just like that. Maybe play around with it a bit more. And that's looking good to me. So now what I want to double check is I want to double check that everything is cut out cleanly before I move on. Of course you can zoom in and double check, but sometimes it's hard to see if anything's like slightly transparent or something like that. So there's a much easier way of doing it. What I can do is I can go to my layer 1, which is my foreground here, and I can just hold my Alt key and click on my layer mask. Now what you see is black and white, of course, and this is what our layer mask looks like. So if you notice here, I have a bit of black on her wrist and in her bit of her dress, and also it's not fully white on the top of this mountain, so it means it's a little bit transparent. So what we want to do is we want to go with our brush tool, and we just want to paint white in the areas that we want to keep. So pretty much the areas that are white we want to make sure are completely white, so I'm just painting white onto those areas, of course. So where it's dark, there's the black areas, I'm just painting white on them because I want to keep them. And then over here where it's just gray, so it's a little bit transparent, I'm also going to be painting white because I know that I want to be keeping those as well. Now of course you can be doing the opposite of that. If you have something left over in your sky, you can just be painting black into your sky, and then you will be getting rid of anything that you are not wanting to see. For example, maybe a really dark cloud that wasn't able to get taken out with the channels. Perfect, so now that's looking pretty good. I'm just going to hold my Alt key and click on my layer mask again, and now I'm back to where I started. Or now I'm back to my image. If you look around the edges of my grass here, I sort of have like a colored line that goes all the way around everything, and rather than trying to clone stamp all that out, which you can do when it's a bigger area, what I'm just going to do is, since horizons often have a bit of a glow, I'm just going to add a bit of a nice glow behind the mountains, so then it will just, all that fringing will just sort of blend in. I'm just going to go down here above my sky layer, and I'm just going to make a new layer, and I'm going to grab my gradient tool by pressing G, and I'm just going to pick like sort of a yellowy white color, like a warm tone for this photo, and I'm just going to make sure I have a linear gradient, and I'm just going to click and drag up like this and just play around with it until I find the amount of glow that I'm happy with. So that's looking pretty good to me. Now when I zoom in, you'll notice that the fringing has become invisible because it now blends in with the glow on our horizon. Before I finish up, I just wanted to let you guys know that I am doing a giveaway with Jord watches. This image was actually part of a set of a series of images I was shooting for Jord watches. If you wanted to take part in this giveaway, all you got to do is go down and hit the link down in the description below, and you'll be entered to win $100 towards any Jord watch you want. And the best part is, just for entering, you receive $25 towards any Jord watch of your choosing. This giveaway will end Sunday, August 20th. Again, all you got to do to enter is just go down and click the link down in the description below. Anyways guys, I hope this helped you and that now you can make your skies look a little bit more interesting even on a gloomy, overcast day. Again, my name is Brendan from Outbound Media, and I hope to see you back here next Wednesday for another new Photoshop tutorial. See you then.